And in today's video, I want to explore all the different ways that I would go about making sure that I made sales the very first week, starting on a brand new offer. So if you are a beginner sales rep in the high ticket coaching and consulting space, I think this video will be very, very valuable for you. Now, if I was to start all over again and start on a new offer next week, and my goal was to make sales that very first week of taking calls, these are the steps that I would follow. And these steps I have followed. If you don't know me, essentially I've been in the high ticket coaching and consulting space for the past 7 years. I have sold for some of the biggest names in the online coaching and consulting space. And these are the steps that I followed on the multiple offers that I've sold for. And so if you want to make sales in your very first week and really make a name for yourself, get noticed on your team, and really build a solid foundation with not only your team members, but the business owner, these are the steps that I would follow. Now, these are not in any particular order. And I've got a few notes in front of me. So step one, I would look at all of the case studies and testimonials. Okay, I think that's really important. So when you're watching the case studies and testimonials on this new offer, I wouldn't just watch them. I would watch them with intention. What I mean by that is I want to listen to what the client has to say about where they were before they started working with your business owner and working with the offer. So what was their current situation and what were some of the pains and obstacles and challenges that they were facing during that period of time in their life? Excuse me. So that would be the first step in terms of watching the case studies and testimonials with intention. From there, I want to understand, well, what was their journey like through the program? What were some of the things that they really liked and enjoyed? Maybe what were some of the bottlenecks and challenges that they experienced along the way? And how did they overcome those? What was the thing that helped them overcome some of those bottlenecks during the actual process of working with your business that you're now selling for? And that's going to give you an understanding of the support, how you help your clients get results, that type of thing. And that's going to help you be more fluid and adaptive later in your sales calls when those concerns come up and people ask those questions around support and, what if this particular scenario happens, right? So that's the second thing that I'd be looking for when viewing the case studies and testimonials with intention. The third thing is, what is their outcome now? What was the big result that they achieved? And how is their life different compared to what it was before they started with the program? So the three big things: their current situation and why that was a problem, how that was impacting them, that type of thing. The ups and downs they experienced during the program, going through the process, how they got support, etc. Sometimes they don't talk about that in every case study and testimonial, but if it's there, take notice. And then the third big area that I want you to take notice of is the result. What was the big outcome that they achieved, and how is life different now compared to before? Now, the reason why you want to watch these case studies and testimonials is because it's, like I said before, it's going to allow you to answer questions more naturally when on a sales call presented with concerns and that type of thing. But also it will build your conviction. It will build your belief. And if your intention is to make sales within the first week of starting a new offer, you have to have an extremely heightened sense of certainty, right? And obviously, if you want to be sustainable in that offer and work with this business owner for years and years and years, obviously that has to carry through. So this is something that I would do starting week one, but I would consistently go back to these every single month to make sure that that belief doesn't dissipate over time. So step one, watch the case studies and the testimonials, but do it with intention. Step two, look at all the pre-call marketing materials. So if your founder has a YouTube channel, as an example, watch the videos, understand who are they talking to, what problems are they speaking to, what outcomes are they speaking to. Understand those types of marketing materials top of funnel. So start with the YouTube videos if your founder's making YouTube videos or whatever content on whatever platform. Start to consume that content. The second thing, have a look at the VSL, okay, or the webinar. Go through it not just once, but several times. Understand what your potential buyer is watching, how they're being indoctrinated. And again, listen to the business owner. On the webinar, on the VSL, what are they talking about? What problems are they focusing on? How are they positioning the offer? What is the messaging? All of those elements need to be considered. So watch the webinar, watch the VSL several times. Now, after that, look at the confirmation page. Actually go through the funnel yourself. Tell the business owner that that's your intention. Maybe they can give you some links rather than you go through it and opting in. But understand that flow of where buyers are coming from in their journey. What does it say on the confirmation screen? What are the expectations that they have before the call? Do they have to watch the case studies and testimonials? Do they have to watch another small training? Are they joining a community? Where are they going after they've opted in and they've watched that initial training? So understand that buyer's journey, even down to the confirmation emails and text messages, like what's being sent out. So you understand what the expectations are for them. And that way you can start the call with a lot more of a clear understanding of that buyer's journey up to the point where they meet you. So really get to know that, understand not just the flow, but also like, well, what are the emotional triggers that are happening throughout that process, and how are people being primed to show up at a call when they meet you? So that's step number 2. Step number 3, speak to the founder. Talk to your business owner. Ask them why people have been buying from them. What is the big problem that they've been solving for people? Why are they passionate about it? How long have they been doing it for? What are some of their biggest wins, some of their biggest losses? You don't have to get super intimate in detail, but understand why people are buying from this person, because again, that's going to allow you to speak with a level of conviction, power, certainty, and that's what people are looking for. Step 4, understand, and this is for any offer, but understand that you are not selling a product, you're not selling a course, you're not selling a coaching program, you are selling an outcome, you are selling a solution. So don't get stuck in the minutiae of, how many video modules they get, what platform the course or the community is being hosted on, what type of one-on-one support they get, if they get any, how many Q&A calls or Zoom calls they get per week. None of that really matters. What matters is, what is the desired state that we're selling? What transformation are people looking for? Because ultimately, that's what is meaningful for the buyer. The buyer doesn't really care about all that other stuff. So understand the deliverables. Of course, you need to understand at a high level like what they are, but don't get caught in the weeds, because even on a sales call, those conversations do not benefit you, and they certainly don't benefit the buyer. So don't get caught in that noise. Just understand the deliverables, but ultimately know that you are not pushing a product, you are helping them achieve an outcome or a desired state. And you've got to get clear on what that is and why that's meaningful for them. Study successful past sales calls from the founder and other sales reps. I want you to study these over and over and over again. Not just listen to them once or twice, like really, really listen to them and make it a point to really get that ingrained in your mind. So listen to these sales calls that have been successful from other sales reps, very important, and the founder, just as important, over the course of the next few days as you're getting up to speed. If they're on Zoom, listen and also watch their body language, their tonality, their gesture, their mannerisms. And you want to mimic, success leaves clues, right? So you want to mimic all the successful things that they did that led to the close. So understand not only the script and the process and the flow, obviously, but you really want to get down to like the nitty gritty as to why that call closed. Ask yourself, what did the founder or what did the sales rep do that led to that outcome? Why was it a payment plan versus a pay in full? Like, analyze the call and then start to mimic all of those successful behaviors and processes that you can see and hear on the sales call. Start to mirror that in your calls. Okay. I can't tell you how many times that I've been on a new offer. I've picked out the best sales rep on the team and I've just listened to their calls over and over and over again. When I'm on a break, end of day, before my day started, I would just listen over and over again. This is the first week, remember. So we just want to do what the most successful people do on the team, and that will help you close your first deal within the first week of a brand new offer. So listen to those calls religiously. And this is a really simple one, but it's super crucial, and one point that I think a lot of people forget about, which is make sure that you have your payment links ready to go. Save them, bookmark them, make sure that you've got your paid in full, your 2-pay payment plan and your 3-pay payment plan links ready to go, somewhere that it's easy to navigate and access while you're on the call. You do not want to fumble at the close when someone says, let's do it, and you don't know where the payment links are. Make sure that you've got your payment links. Now, if your founder does finance, understand at a granular level how the financing works and the steps that you have to take people through when you're on a call with them. This is super important. I cannot tell you how many times someone's had a great call, you've got to the close, and they've fumbled because they've forgotten these details, and it's not cost them a deal. In some cases it can, but oftentimes it just creates a bit more friction than is necessary. We want to make sure that the close is smooth and that buying experience is something that the potential client really enjoys when they're going through that process and they're actually becoming a client. Now, I'll go one step beyond this point. You have to understand the onboarding process. It's not just about accepting payment. Once they've processed payment with you on the call, what happens then? Do you send them to another team member? Do they arrange a one-on-one onboarding call with somebody? Do they have to sign a client services agreement? What is that onboarding process? Because again, we want to make sure that that buying process and experience is super smooth and the onboarding is super smooth, because when that happens, we don't want people to have buyer's remorse, right? So when that process is really smooth, it leaves them with a great taste in their mouth, not a bad taste in their mouth, and now they're primed to get great results in a program with your founder and the rest of the team. Remember, we don't just want one sale in the first week. We're gunning for multiple, but eventually we want to ask for client referrals, right? And so to do that, we need to make sure that we're looking after the people that we've onboarded and enrolled. We keep in contact with them, and we make sure that it starts here. Okay, so super important point. Understand where your payment links are, make sure that they're ready, and understand the onboarding process. Super important. And I think to go beyond all of that as well, it helps prime your subconscious. Again, I have no scientific evidence to back this, but I just understand from my own lived experience, looking at the onboarding process and what happens after the payment's been collected helps program your subconscious in a way where you're already assuming sales are going to be made in the first week, right? So like there's no stone left unturned. You know your process like the back of your own hand, and we're already assuming that sales are going to be made. Therefore, we need to understand, well, what is that process that people need to go on after payment's been processed? I said process twice then, but you get my point. And understand your pipeline. I want you to understand your CRM, where to place people. If it's a no close follow-up, where do they go? If it's a no-show, cancellation, reschedule, where do they go? What type of text messages do we send them? Understand all of this, because you need to own your pipeline. That is essentially your list of buyers. That's the little world that you operate in. That's where you're going to make all of your money, not just in week one, but for the long haul. So understand your pipeline and understand other people's pipeline. So once you've got a grasp on your own, now you can go in and you can check the other closers on your team and you can see who is really working their pipeline, who isn't, right? If there's people that have been in a no-show, cancellation, reschedule column for a very, very long time, beyond 30 days, and that closer isn't following up with people, or if they've made offers and they're not following up with those people, like that's fair game as far as I'm concerned. Run it by your founder, but showing that initiative and getting after it when people are lazy, that's going to build a lot of great rapport with the founder, and it's going to help your commissions, right? So like when you have a no-show, when you have a cancellation, go into your pipeline or somebody else's and have a look. Okay, who can I speak to right now that I can have a conversation with and maybe get back on the calendar or warm them up, make an offer potentially. There's deals to be made and there's a lot of money in the pipeline. So figure out what that is and get after it. So if you are a new or, early stage sales rep in the high ticket coaching and consulting space and you're starting on a new offer, hopefully this video has been very valuable for you. These are the steps that I have followed in the past to make sales in my first week on a brand new offer. And so let me know in the comments below your thoughts. And until next time, as always, happy selling.